This is the first league, actually. We basically the Speed Gaming was running two tournaments per year for the Link to the Past Randomizer, but they were taking so long because they are ridiculously popular. So we've scaled it back to one tournament a year, and to fill in the time between, we've got these leagues. So our runners are starting off in Link's house. It's a standard mode seed, so they're going to have to go through the whole of Escape and rescue Zelda and take her to Sanctuary.
Yep, and both of them picking up their allowance in the Link's house chest, getting only 5 rupees.
Now, because this is standard, the uncle's going to have a guaranteed weapon for us, and today that is the hammer, which is a really excellent early game find as a weapon. Not only it's got a smaller hitbox than the sword, but it does the equivalent of tempered sword damage, and it gets you past a whole lot of wooden pegs around the world and in dungeons. So it's really great for both offensive power and progress.
Yeah, as far as starting weapons go from that pool, I think the hammer, to me, honestly, I would prefer the hammer over anything else, because fighter's sword is nice, but you know, it's got its drawbacks, and as you said, it reduces some of the mobility in terms of what the hammer can open up for you in terms of the wooden pegs. And then you know, what are some other ones like the blue cane? That one's probably one of the worst starts to me.
I never liked the 10 bombs. Like, you've got the bombs that's guaranteed you can get into the free chests at the back of Escape, but depending on if the enemies decide to juke your bombs a bit, you may find yourself running out of bombs and having to farm some with pots in the castle or throwing them at the guards or something like that. It's difficult.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I didn't even think about the 10 bomb start because I don't even think I've ever seen that in any of the standard seeds though.
So, question in chat, what sprites are you using? Frostbite is using the Plague Knight sprite from Shovel Knight, and Finalflame is using Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
And yeah.
Finalflame.
Sorry.
Yeah, Finalflame's probably gonna be looking for those boots so he can go fast, like Sonic fast.
So yeah, this is just the rule set for this race is just it's a standard race. Runners have to get the 7 crystals, which will allow them to ascend up Ganon's tower, fight Aghanim 2, then go and take on Ganon himself. First runner to beat Ganon wins a game.
So
yeah, this is a standard seed. So our runners will be starting off like the vanilla game in Link's house. They have to go through the whole of Escape, rescue Zelda, which runners have just done, take her back to the Sanctuary, and then they can go exploring the world. So you've got a few guaranteed chests that you'll be getting in Escape. It's a more linear start. You're always guaranteed to have a weapon from the uncle, and unlike with open mode, where you could be searching for quite a while for some means of attacking your enemies.
yeah, and both our runners finding that pack of bombs in the Zelda chest, which would be very nice to not have to farm for some bombs to blow open the back of Escape there.
Absolutely.
So Frostbite looking like they're coming out just slightly ahead of Finalflame out of Escape. And we're going to see next here what's in Dark Cross. What is it? Isn't it always a key guaranteed or...
No. Depends on where else you find keys in the Hyrule Castle. So
yeah,
we've already
right.
got a small key, so we're not going to need another small key. We found the small key in the dungeon, so this is going to be a different item. I believe they already picked up the map as well, so I think it's guaranteed to be some item in the general randomizer pool.
Yeah, but back of Escape, we'll find our first nice little pack of items, and there's a heart container in the Dark Cross.
And with a bit of luck here, we should be looking at some 6-minute escapes, because honest, I don't have to farm many bombs. That bomb pack coming in is especially handy here. And Frostbite is just a little bit ahead of Finalflame, but it's going to come down a little. I expect both Varnus will probably be going to Kakariko right after the Sanctuary, because it's right there, it's stuffed with items. But if you're willing to go for gamble, you might decide to do the South Lake Hylia route first. Maybe you'll find something there that's really good. Maybe you won't, but if you do, it'll give you a bit of an advantage, really. So from the food chests back here, we've got 320 rupees.
Well, I mean, there's some money for the bottle vendor, I guess. Not the biggest of finds, but you know, the early game, finding every you know, rupee that you can get is always helpful to get that bottle vendor money. You know, if you need to buy bombs, some bomb money, and eventually building towards that 500 rupee total to get that King's Aura money.
So Frostbite gets out just a little bit over 6 minutes, but 300 rupees in the chest, so that basically covers most of the money needs for Kakariko.
Yep, that's always nice to see early on. You you have the peace of mind that you don't have to go farming for any money or anything like that.
So Frostbite heading over to Lost Woods, not bothering to check out the Lumberjack just yet. Looks like Finalflame is heading towards Lumberjack though. He's taking the northernmost route. Frostbite picks up even more 20 rupees from the tree pull there.
Not a bad tree pull.
And some bombs lying on the ground, which is going to cover all of the explosive needs both for the village and Lake Hylia, so looking pretty good. No farming necessary at all, really.
And then a heart container in the drop down in Lost Woods. So Frostbite will head to Kakariko Town over here, and Finalflame showing us that there is nothing but a big 20 on Lumberjack.
It doesn't count out Aga just yet, but there'd have to be something like the moon pearl being on the pyramid or something like that. Aga's looking. He's on life support right now.
Yeah, with a hammer start, that put a big, you know, kibosh on Aga's plans of slowing these runners down.
So Frostbite skipping out on the Lumberjack Cave is the first one in Blind's hideout in Kakariko. Ooh, the best unique item of the seed is a single arrow. But there's a bottle that is going to unlock the Sig Kit, so you can do pretty much a full clear of Kakariko now without having to return for the Sig Kit.
Yeah, one might say it's a beautiful find.
Boo. Okay, that was a really quick map check there. It looks like we had a crystal at Tower of Hera, a pendant at Eastern Palace, and I'm not quite sure what Desert Palace was.
Yeah, so Frostbite checking the well and finding magic powder in the back there. That'll be good safety to have.
And a sword and well too, but the powder's actually especially interesting because that already gives us access to Magic Bat. We can access Magic Bat really early in this seed. The bottle merchant is a bit confused. He thinks he's the king of all Zors and is giving out flippers for cash today.
At a steep discount. I'm buying my flippers from the bottle vendor from now on.
Yeah, it's another 20 rupees in a chicken hut. This seed has been loaded with cash so far. Might be seeing some early Zora plays up here, especially with the flippers.
And the sick kid is playing with explosives. Probably shouldn't be doing that while you're sick in bed.
Ooh, Master Sword in the back of a Kakariko bar.
Yeah, this seed was starting off pretty slow, but with Master Sword already and with a hammer start, and now we get to check Magic Bat, looks like things are starting to accelerate.
I can't remember the last time I saw a Magic Bat check just 10 minutes into a race. So what's a bat gonna curse us with today? Power gloves.
So we have the curse of having to lift everything ourselves.
It's gonna lift our way into the dark world, that's for sure. Just need to track down the moon pearl now.
Yeah, Aga is on his last legs with that glove showing up. All that's left is the moon pearl. If it shows up anywhere in the light world, Aga is dead.
Frostbite checked the library so quickly that I actually didn't see what was up, but Finalflame will be there himself very shortly. He's not too far behind. He had a little bit of a slow escape, and he went over to check Aga, but he does have the knowledge that Aga is not necessary to kill if he can find a moon pearl somewhere. And Frostbite's actually taking another gamble, which is checking out the race game directly rather than checking it. So race game is just 10 hours, and he's taking the save and crit.
Yeah, and good on our runners for checking that Magic Bat, because it's possible someone might overlook it because no one's used to having the ability to check Magic Bat this early, and it's got an important upgrade on it.
Yeah, Magic Bat is kind of one of those checks you want to root in with the blacksmith chain if possible, and if you can't root in for blacksmiths, it's often like you never check it at all, or if you do find a powder somewhere, or possibly the cane for fake powder shenanigans, like really late in the seed, you go checking it instead. So Finalflame actually went to check the race game rather than gambling on it, and catches up to Frostbite by a few seconds here. Looks like he's going to go to South Lake Hylia, following Frostbite still. Pretty standard routing for both our runners so far.
Yeah, when you have the standard start, it eliminates the need to try to decide. Well, do I go up to Hyrule Castle, or do I go to South Lake Hylia? And look at that, we got mushrooms growing underwater here.
Yeah, if runners can find just a little bit more cash, it's good. It's basically guaranteed to send them up to the Azora area now. I believe in Frostbite's daily race just a couple days ago, he actually did a bit of farming outside the Iceford Cave to get the cash for Azora. He might do the same thing here, or he might try to gamble and see if he can get some cash from the Hobo or the Waterfall Cave. Or possibly even the Azora Ledge. You just have to make another loop around. But here in Paddock's Cave, we've got a bunch of 20 rupees, so I think he's going to be covered.
Yeah, it looks like maybe check out, to pick up one set of that big 20 in the near the Ice Rod Cave, if the money doesn't come up until then. But looks like he's gonna go straight for Hobo first.
Did I say Paddock's Cave? I meant Mini Model. Honestly, they actually both caves, they both have Moldoms, they both have an extreme number of chests in. And they're both significantly better than Hype Cave. Well,
And
Hobo has an Ice Rod.
Yeah, speaking of Ice Rod Cave, there's the Ice Rod on the Hobo.
So that's making Turtle Rock pretty likely to be a pendant at this point. Although the last race I did with an early Ice Rod, it actually had to put Turtle Rock as a crystal. So, RNG isn't always spiteful. It often is spiteful, but not always.
So Frostbite is going to head over to Ice Rod from this point, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Zora play afterward.
from here, all he needs to do is swim downwards and go in the whirlpool, and he will be in the sort of air. I believe the one just there takes you to the whirlpool to the left of the magic shop. So, and if you enter the one in Lake Hylia, it will put him by the waterfall cave. Ooh, yeah, well worth the time diverting to Ice Rod Cave, because there is a magic mirror there.
And that's a good find for the Dark World starter pack. But we're still looking for that Moon Pearl, wherever that thing is. Again, it could end up being in the Dark World. It could very likely, well, not very likely, it could show up on Pyramid or Checkerboard at this point, so it's not out of the woods yet.
Frostbite did what I expected him to do, was to farm a little bit of cash from the cave there. It's putting in the Zora vein, so that is undoubtedly his direction now. Finalflame, meanwhile, has gone to the Waterfall Cave, found nothing, but he skipped out on Ice Rod Cave. I have to see if he's going to come back there later. A lot of runners often like to leave Ice Rod Cave until they have the flute and the boot, simply because he can then just run up there.
Yeah, that could be big. You look at certain items that give you a time advantage over the longer that you have them, like boots and mirror. And while a mirror may not necessarily be required for progression all the time, it definitely does add up time savings over the entire course of the seed, and having it this early will be a lot.
Titan's Miss from King Zora. So the seed was definitely pointing around us in a certain direction today, and they followed those directions, and they have gotten so much.
That, interestingly enough, if they get the flute, that may mean that Moon Pearl could be in Checkerboard.
Oh yeah, it can pop up there if you find the flute somewhere. Now, Finalflame, because he doesn't have a mirror, quite a good choice of direction right now would be to head up to Death Mountain, to sequence breaking through the Dark Cave. Which is definitely an option for Frostbite right now, but for Finalflame, not so appealing, because all he can do up there is get the save point and 2 items. So he's checking out the Eastern Palace area first, starting with Shahasrara.
It looks like Frostbite might be headed to Desert and check out the Agena Cave.
Speaking of a flute, it just popped up in Shahasrara's closet.
So, Frostbite looking to turn in that mushroom, it looks like.
Yeah, he took the whirlpool south of Link's house, which is the whirlpool that takes to the west of the magic shop. The other whirlpool to the south of the Ice Rod Cave, I think, takes you just to the west of Sanctuary instead.
But with the flute, that might put Finalflame back on track to find that mirror in Ice Rod Cave.
Indeed. And Moon Pearl from the magic shop, so Aga is completely dead.
So I saw that in chat. Who called that one?
Honestly, this seed is looking pretty jet so far. All we just needed is a boost to get around quickly.
Yeah, it looks like Archeril, our tracker, caught that one. Predicted the Pearl on Shroom, so you win the prize of Unlimited Mushroom.
So Frostbite's immediately taking that Moon Pearl over to check Hype Cave, which is generally really disappointing lately. It gives us another map check. We've got 5 and 6 crystals in Swamp Palace and Skullwood, and pendants at Turtle Rock and Palace of Darkness. Palace of Darkness is in fact the green pendant.
So,
as I told you, early Ice Vault, pendant Turtle Rock.
So the interesting thing is, this is going to push Frostbite potentially away from the flute for a while, possibly, depending on, where Frostbite ends up getting stuck up.
It's going to be probably around the time he decides to check out Pod for items, and nothing really steering them towards Pod at the moment, because no bow. So from that Hype Cave, Frostbite picked up a Tempered Sword and a Bomber's Medallion. So the Bombers might come in useful, the Tempered is going to come in extremely useful, not even 20 minutes into the race. So yeah, I'd give that a pretty good score.
Yep. And Finalflame never did go back to get that mirror, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as to when they're gonna decide to go over to Ice Rod Cave and pick up that mirror.
Yeah, both of our runners are missing one item the other has picked up. So it's going to factor into their routing decisions, and it's really going to depend on when one decides to check out the thing the other runner has left behind.
Yep.
So Frostbite's making his mirror, and Titan's missed to start his Dark Rock
and that's
route into the defensive outcasts.
That's a 20-minute butter right there. Wow.
Can we take up some boots now? That would be really nice. Yeah, I'd say aside from the fact that the runners are still going at walking speed, this is looking like a jet seed so far.
So we're going to see what is buried under the dig game. Meanwhile, Finalflame going to check out the pyramid and see what's on the ledge.
Ooh, 25 digs for 300 rupees.
And we got a heart container on the pyramid ledge, so that's a little bit more health. A lot of people, tend to pass up on certain things like that, but Finalflame says, you know what, I'll have some safety.
So Frostbite's already picking up the blacksmith, and he can just take him straight over to his house with a mirror in tow. So, but first he's actually taking the blacksmith into just a small tour for Village of Outcasts. Can be checking out the brewery down here.
It looks like we're brewing up some heart containers.
And Finalflame is headed all the way to Catfish. I can only assume he just wants to get this done as soon as possible, rather than heading over to the slightly more item-rich Thieves Town and Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, I often see a lot of runners when they decide to do pyramid, they just loop in Catfish. It's a check that you just want to get out of the way, no matter what it is.
And Catfish is a complete bust today compared to his Light World partner.
So Finalflame's pulling out that flute. Let's see if it's going to be an 8.
It's a 6. He's going to check out the Maya area. So there's an empty bottle on the desert ledge. Let's see what our blacksmiths are crafting today.
Well, it looks like they could only craft up a piece of heart, so Frostbite is going to just go ahead and head on out.
We can open up Mizumaya already, because that is a bombus medallion required for access. But we can't actually get anywhere in there yet, because no hookshot or boots yet. Nothing much in the C-shaped house or the Maya shed. Frostbite's probably going to head into Thieves Town from here after the chess game and just full clear it. With a hammer, it makes it particularly appealing because there's nothing he can potentially leave behind at all.
Yep, Finalflame headed up to Death Mountain. Gonna basically just be able to check out Spectacle Rock and can sequence break the old man.
Yeah, without that mirror, a lot of Death Mountain is locked off to him right now. I could see him going over to the Village of Outcasts and doing that before going over to Ice Rod Cave. So that mirror is probably going to be too late for him. Oh, and there's a lantern on top of Spectacle Rock, so Frostbite can get that once he heads up to Death Mountain.
Yep, and that's our first fire source. So yeah, Frostbite heads up to I can't remember, is Tower of Hera a pendant?
It's a crystal.
It's a crystal. So yeah, when he goes up there, he'll have a secured fire source if Fire Rod remains elusive.
Now that's Finalflame just read the hint tile inside Special Rock there, which I believe is a new kind of hint for the current version of Randomizer. Namely, there's something on a tablet, and that something is a Cane of Samaya. So, book required.
So it does look like Finalflame is going to finally head to Village of Outcasts and start doing checks around there. Meanwhile, Frostbite in Thieves Town going to go to the back and clear out all of Thieves Town.
Now, Frostbite may be on the gold sword already, but that doesn't help him one bit against Blind. He does have a ton of heart containers, though, so I think he's going to be in a pretty safe spot for taking on Blind.
Yeah, if you're good with the sword strategy, Blind is a piece of cake. Personally, my favorite is the Cane of Samaria strategy.
Ooh, I've seen the Cane of Samaya being resorted to for a few times for Blind, and that's generally really icky in inverted mode seeds, where you're getting into Blind with 3 hearts and trying to KO Blind for the moon pole. With the Cane of Samaya, it's nasty. A unique item is above a pose.
So we got something on Graveyard Ledge.
And it's not going to be the single arrow, so yeah, it could be something particularly valuable.
And that's something Frostbite can get, at any time. Got the mirror. All he's got to do is just route over. And Frostbite getting hugged by the grasshoppers, taking quite a bit of damage as those things just love to dish out some pain.
Yeah, still running on green mail despite the 10 heart containers. Nothing much popping up in Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town so far, but it's a crystal, so you may as well get it done anyway.
Yeah, and gold or tempered really makes this place nice, being able to one-shot those red horse knight.
I believe they're called Zazaks. That must be
Zazak.
why the Nintendo caught a lot of their SNES era enemies on Link to the Past and Super Metroid and so on. Very strange names. Ooh, a bit of foresight there from Frostbite. He knew that a bunny beam was under the pot there, so you just use the powder on the pot and it instantly converts the bunny beam into a fairy.
Yep, that's a nice little fill up there.
Just 20 rupees in the big chest.
It's never anything when you check it, but when you have to orphan it and go back for it, it's always something important. So, looks like we're going to get our blind fight here. Meanwhile, Finalflame is headed up to the attic.
He also gets that hint about a pose, but he can't do anything with it just yet. Frostbite getting a little off script with Blind here. If you place your movements and sword strings exactly, you can fight Blind the first time you head into the fight in the exact same way every time. But he's got so much life that it really doesn't make a difference if he gets hit, the hero there. So 10 hours from Blind, so Thieves Town and Village of Outcasts pretty much nothing.
Yeah, but valuable hint tile, though, I would say, depending on what unique item is up there. I mean, for all we know, it could be a shovel that leads to nothing.
A pretty good chance that Frostbite will head over there immediately, although looks like he's going to go get the purple chest first. Going to be a little slow for purple chest, because no flute to immediately go to the the dam in the light world and take it straight to the locksmith.
And it looks like Frostbite is gonna just take that purple chest on a world tour. Probably gonna check Graveyard Ledge from here and then save quit with the purple chest. And we'll get to see what's on Bumper Ledge as well.
Just bombs on Bumper Ledge.
And here we go. We're going to get our Graveyard Ledge check, and we'll get to see what exciting and thrilling unique item is up there. Could it be Bo?
I'm thinking less bow, more bugnet. The wrong kind of bee item. But we'll see very shortly. Meanwhile, Finalflame is just about to head into their own blind fight.
It'll be interesting to see where Finalflame heads from here, not being able to check that Graveyard Ledge and get that item. And we were both wrong on the B item. It's Boot.
But we are definitely going fast now.
Yeah, Finalflame's definitely going to be missing those boots. Let's see what else this leads into. Now we can check King's Tomb right away. That's
Just
about
10 sticks.
Yep, 10 arrows. So we'll see if he goes and checks Pegasus rocks. Nope. Save that for later.
So Frostbite's still taking a kind of a bit long route for his purple chest, but he's going to get it back very shortly. And it looks like Finalflame, without many other options, is heading up to Skull Woods now to check out the items here.
Yeah, I had a feeling that Finalflame would go here, given that they couldn't check Graveyard Ledge, and we got a shield on the purple chest. So Frostbite will probably check Bonk Rocks here, and then we'll get to see probably, well, possibly a Death Mountain climb.
I think from here, Death Mountain looks like a fairly appealing prospect for him. And you can't get up there in Logic, although it is in Logic right now, because of course Finalflame has picked up the flute. Frostbite needs to head over to the Eastern Palace area and Shalashashka's closet to pick up that flute. But Finalflame himself needs to pick up the mirror from Icefield Cave.
And if Frostbite's paying attention to the seed logic, if Frostbite goes up to Death Mountain and finds that lamp on Spectacle Rock, they're gonna know that flute was required to get up here, so it's somewhere, you know, that is probably early on.
Well, considering we've got things like the flippers and the hammer and Titan Smith so early, it could be in a whole variety of locations. To be fair, it could be, for example, on the left side of Swamp, which is a pretty nasty location for a lamp, but it could be there right now if we knew it wasn't on Spectacle Rock. TomTom from 1983 in chat. Mirror Shield can be required for if the Cane of Burner or Magic Cape do not appear anywhere in the seed. If they do appear somewhere in the seed, then that unlocks Laser Bridge and Logic. Otherwise, you need a Mirror Shield. It's not something you see very often at all, but sometimes it does pop up.
Yeah, usually you find Cape at the very least, because it is required for Bumper Ledge, so it has some use.
Finalflame not finding too much here in Scarwood so far. He's taking a Death Orb back to the beginning. And Frostbite about to get that hint about the Cane of Samaria, so he's going to need... he needs to book from somewhere.
And we're going to get a bomb jump attempt, and Frostbite gets it.
It saves him a bit of time coming back here. So obviously he's going to mirror right to the top and get that lantern, and then probably clear out Tower of Hair whilst he's at it, because nothing blocking you from doing so now.
And at this point, Frostbite has access to pretty much everything in East Death Mountain except 3 of the Hookshot Cave locations. Flute was in Sahasrala's closet.
The Christos Owen troll hint right there in the Tower of Hera.
So it looks like we may not have to visit the basement today. We've already found one item, and I've got the big keys, so once we find that second item, we are secured no basement. Meanwhile, Finalflame not even bothering to pick up that 300 rupees, saying, I don't need the money.
Yeah, he's already paid off King Zora and a bottle fender. He's even gotten himself some potions from the magic shop, so he really doesn't need cash for anything.
And that's a strong hint right there. Silver Arrows requires the hammer. So, while that is one of the more vague hints, it does narrow some places down.
Yeah, unfortunately, it requires a hammer can be a really wide range of locations. It could be over on the right side of Death Mountain, it could be somewhere in Swamp Palace or Palace of Darkness. A ton of locations it could be in there, actually. If it's on left side swamp, then you're pretty much never going to get it unless you have to go to left side for some other reason.
So we're going to get a very difficult Moldorn fight with Buttersword. And Frostbite just manages to squeak it out. So unfortunately, yes, basement will need to be checked. And there goes the commentator's curse.
Finalflame with no magic mirror has to save and crit after going into the Hammerpeck's cave and has to return the smith by walking over there. Although he's got a pigeon to help him out.
So we're pretty deep into the seed, and this is the point where you wonder if Finalflame has just kind of written off Ice Rod Cave for the duration, or has even forgot about it.
I doubt he has. He knows he skipped it, and he knows it's in really quick reach to him whenever he wants, so long as he flutes over there. It's just about whether he wants to check out another location because it has more items, or whether he just wants to check out the Ice Rock Cave and be done with it.
Right.
And that looks like it's going to be his play right now.
I think I just need to stop talking. I'm calling the match from the future.
So nothing in the basement of Tower of Hera, and Frostbite is just headed straight over to the east side now. So Finalflame just, he's certainly got time for one frustration slash, that's mirror, leaving it behind for so long, but he's now got the same kind of progression that Frostbite has. Obviously he's missing quite a few items that Frostbite has already picked up, but he's Finalflame now has a means to pick them up, whilst Frostbite still hasn't gone to the Eastern Palace area yet.
Yeah. So that's going to give Finalflame an advantage here. If
he's getting trolled by that dead rock there. Still manages to find a way past.
Yeah. But yeah, as I say, it's going to give Finalflame an advantage here at this point and be able to kind of close that little bit of a gap that Frostbite has on him.
Frostbite is still speeding ahead of those boots, so it's going to be hard to say. Frostbite knows he needed the flute to get up here, so he's got to be thinking right now, where could it be? He's going to hope that something pops up that will send him over to somewhere like Eastern Palace or Pod or Swamp Palace with the means to actually complete it, rather than having to have a normally forced double dip. So he's going to be hoping that Paradox Cave or Super Bunny or the one item in Hookshot Cave are going to pay out for him.
So Finalflame did not pick up the lamp.
He skipped it?
Yeah, he just walked right past it.
That's funny. I mean, you might as well pick it up because it just makes dark rooms less of a hassle. You may know how to do dark rooms, but you'd still rather do something like a pod with a bit of light to see the turtles or whatever else.
Not to mention, you don't have a fire source yet, so you're gonna need it.
Well, you don't technically need it this time, but he knows there's going to be an item down here, and it's going to be Firelock, so yeah. Frostbite does spamming that mirror a bit to move the blocks in Super Bunny. A glitch that's unique to the original Japanese version of the game. If you're playing the NTSC or the PAL versions of Link to... Ooh, there's a Fire Rod in Super Bunny Cave, and half magic! Wow.
What a combo.
Anyway, like I was saying, if you're playing one of the later versions of Link to the Past, say like the American or the European version, if you try to push some blocks and delete them with a mirror, you're going to have a bad time.
And it is Ether to open Turtle Rock today.
Yeah. Not much reason to go in Turtle Rock yet. It is a pendant. A lot of items in there, but getting into Turtle Rock is lengthy. Getting through Turtle Rock is also lengthy.
We'll also need that book before we can even get up in there, because we're going to need that Canis Marin.
Indeed. So Frostbite is done with Death Mountain. He's gotten the Fire Rod and Half Magic, which are really great finds, but he's probably going to take this straight over to Skull Woods instead of Eastern Palace, and I don't fault him for it. He can just clear out Skull Woods now and be done with it and get a crystal, so well worth his time, but just not quite the thing he needs to really put him ahead of Finalflame at this point.
Yeah. And at this point, you also start kind of eyeing up Ice Palace. You can dip into Swamp Palace if you want.
So Finalflame's still leaving that lamp behind, which is... it's just weird. I don't see any reason why you would skip it, especially since you're mirroring on top of Spectral Rock anyway to get to Tower of Hell. He's going to get his Fire Rod here on Death Mountain, so that would cover things. See, like if he wants to go back into Tower of Hell, he can light up the lamps now, but yeah, it's just weird to me. I'll have to ask him about it later.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you might be good at dark rooms, but to be honest, like even if you're good with dark rooms, I can't imagine a world where it's faster to just not grab the lamp.
So Finalflame didn't find Flame Martin Skull Woods earlier, so when Finalflame does come back here, it's going to be a forced double dip for him. Frostbite is going to be able to clear this out all in one go. Don't know if there's any items on the back on Mothula yet, but we'll see that shortly, and whether Skull Woods was a complete bust or not.
So Frostbite is going to go and check the chest at the bottom first. A lot of times with 1 items left, you see a lot of runners go straight for Mothula and try to hope that the item's on Mothula.
Thanks to having that mirror, he doesn't need to default back to beginning, so he thinks might as well just do it because he hasn't checked out the other items in the rest of the dungeon yet. So Finalflame clears out Paradox Cave, which didn't really have anything, but he's going to be in Paradox Cave in very shortly. Up to what? No, the Super Bunny Cave.
You sure love your Paradox Cave.
Look, clears Paradox Cave to get to Paradox Cave. That's definitely a paradox. So Frostbite takes out Mothula in no time at all with a couple of supplemental fire shots with his gold sword.
Yeah, the randomizer fixing the gold sword issue makes this much better prospect.
Yeah, the funny thing about Mothula is that if you, in the original version of the game, if you try to damage him with a gold sword, he takes no damage whatsoever. But in the randomizer, it's been patched to the gold sword only does tempered sword damage in Mothula's room only, so you can hit Mothula and it can still damage him.
Yeah.
Just got to be careful not to punt him into spikes, because that will still make Mothula immune to damage if you punt him into spikes with anything.
Yeah, and that gold sword issue is because the gold sword does spike damage, like literally it's coded as does the damage of a spike, and Mothula is immune to spikes, so that is why it does no damage to him in the original game. But we are getting a desert play from Finalflame.
It's a dungeon that's in access to him, and he's got the means to clear it, so why not?
Ooh, may not have the means to clear it. Ooh, there's the second time we've seen a unique item above the pose hint. So he's got one chance here to be able to at least kill the boss, and nope.
He's locked. Boots locked to the Desert Palace. That's got a sting for him.
And it's kind of funny, too, how that hint showed up in that room, knowing what is on Graveyard Ledge.
It seems remarkably coincidental by the sea. So he's checking out Checkerboard Cave now, and Frostbite is headed up to Catfish. I think from here, Frostbite's probably going to head down to the pyramid and the pod area and pick up his flute from Shalastaska's closet. So this should be good for him.
And Frostbite finding that piece of heart on the Catfish, and we'll see what is on Old Man Agina. And it's the bow, been sitting there this whole time.
Wow. Well, on the plus side for Frostbite, Desert Palace is a crystal, and he's going to be heading over there sometime, but he's going to probably be spending some time in Paths of Darkness and Eastern Paths and not finding the bow that he wants to complete them.
And yeah, and that bow, while nice to have, is not really required except for the GT climb. Unless there's some progression on Eastern or Pod that we need. Alright, so speaking of pod, looks like Frostbite is headed over that direction. Meanwhile, Finalflame is going to clear out the rest of Skullwoods, going to kill the moth, get that crystal, and we'll see where Finalflame heads after that. And Frostbite is going to be getting that flute finally, so that will be a welcome sight.
And he's just taking the save and crit rather than bothering to check Pod or Eastern. Pretty smart to be honest, because they are both pendants. Pod is the green pendant, but it takes time to complete both dungeons. Time he really doesn't want to spend, because he's facing. He's got boots, he's got so many items out, he's got to go fast.
Now, I wonder if Finalflame will think to check Graveyard Ledge and Bumper Ledge after exiting Skull Woods here.
So Galia07's in chat for the Scourge of Hyrule is about to be unleashed a second time upon the world in this. Now, I live about 50 minutes away from the coast, and I think the bird in Link to the Past looks exactly like a seagull, and I have horrible opinions of. They will steal your sandwich. They will peck at you to steal your sandwich. They are not nice birds.
I mean, it could always be an albatross.
Yeah, so Frostbite is taking that first immediately over to my area. There's nothing much here in my shed, but you should be, with any luck, getting into Desert Palace, finishing that off, hopefully checking out a Gina at the same time, and getting that bow.
So Finalflame is checking that first chest in the back there. We'll be disappointed that it is just a little bit of cash, and we'll move on to kill the moth.
Is Frostbite actually headed into Mizumaya here? He knows he cannot complete it because he knows the Cane of Samaya is going to be on a tablet somewhere. So he might be dipping into hoping to find a book, or he might just be opening it.
And it looks like it was a decision, kind of, do I do it or do I not? Looks like he hesitated there a bit.
Kind of spun around a bit and swiped his sword, possibly debating on what to do, possibly frustrated. Oops, I didn't mean to open this. He picks up his second bottle from the ledge, and he's going to go into desert now. He can pick up that small key from the torch, so he's going to be able to finish.
Now, what if Book is in the big chest of Misery Mire? So yep, it does look like Finalflame is going to finally get their boost. And they will be able to go Sonic fast.
Tied on pistols, Frostbite kind of has a fairly good item advantage at this point. This is going to be effectively tied up once Finalflame gets these boosts, but Frostbite's done quite a lot more tricks, and he's going to be finishing up this dungeon immediately. He's probably going to be getting his bow fed shortly, and that will tie him up with items again. So I would definitely give the advantage to Frostbite right now. So Sonic is finally going fast.
And apologies for the roboting. Just waiting for the connection here to restore itself. And nothing but a big 20 on the Landmo. Looks like we're back to normal. The connection has restored itself, and we are done talking in 56K modem language.
Yeah, you definitely do not sound like a robot to me now, but I know your secret already.
So we're gonna get a checkerboard cave check over here on Frostbite side. Finalflame gonna finish up desert, and looks like Frostbite does not want the bloomerang. So here's where I'm wondering where Frostbite's gonna head next.
Straight to Agina's cave, so he's going to be fine. So Frostbite gets his bow, and he's on the way out. And right now, it's looking like a hunt for both the hookshot to finish from Palace and the book to get the Cane of Samaya and finish off Misery Maya. So I'd say a pretty good choice of direction right now would be Ice Palace.
Yeah, Ice Palace would probably be the optimal decision because you can full clear it and hope that book or hookshot turns up there.
Well, hello, Frostbite is actually going to dip Maya looking for book or hookshot. Now, neither of our runners have been into Eastern Palace or Palace of Darkness at all. Both of those items could be lurking in those dungeons. We don't know yet. We're essentially going to be hunting around looking for the book and hookshot. And it could be in any of these dungeons right now.
Yeah, and I'll have to tell you, every time that pod in any of my Cs that pod's been a pendant, it's always held progression anyway.
So Finalflame is going with the my expected route of heading over to Ice Palace. So Finalflame's going to be able to finish Ice Palace. He'll get a crystal, he'll get a few items out of it. Maybe Hookshot and Book are down there, maybe they're not. But Finalflame is proving me a liar and going into the Whirlpool, and then he's subverting me again and going back into the Whirlpool. Tut tut.
So to clear up some confusion in chat, so behind the book, was not the hint. The hint was literally the Cane of Samaria is on a tablet. So that's why we know that we need the book for Cane of Samaria.
Speaking of the other book check, Pedestal is pretty much dead at this point. I think the only thing it could be would be the hookshot. You don't need hookshot to clear Eastern Palace or Palace of Darkness, and you don't need it for Turtle Rock, so it's possible, but it's a very, very, very small chance. Ped is pretty much dead at this point.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I can't think of anything else really.
I'll contain this in Mimic Cave. If you ever want to dip Turtle Rock for some reason, that saves you a little bit of time. Something sharp is in Kakariko Tavern. Yeah, that is... considering we're 1 hour into the siege and checking out Ice Palace, finding out what your Kakariko items is a extremely useful bit of knowledge.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish hints could have... I don't even know if it's possible for hints to have logic. Because it's always, you know, funny to find some hints where, like, it was literally required that you find the item that the hint tile is referring to even get to that hint tile.
Okay, compass in the big chest. Frostbite has picked up the map, so he's got 1 more chest coming up here, and if it's not something he needs, this trip was a bust for him. It's a small key. So there's going to be an item on fit. And Frostbite has no means of getting to Vitreous now, because no cane, no book. So he's lost a little bit of time there checking out things like the cutscene chest.
So it looks like Frostbite's going to stock up on a blue potion. That may be a sign he is headed to Ice Palace. Spike Cave is all that's left here.
Well, he's got a couple of bottles and the cane burner, so that does put Spike Cave in logic. Just unusual he's going for it before Ice Palace.
I see a lot of runners have an extreme dislike for Ice Palace, so it could be that there's just an aversion to it.
Actually, with Frostbite, in the daily race he did a couple days ago, he was the first of the runners on the restream to find a hookshot, and the hookshot was right here in Spike Cave, so he's suspicious at this point. He thinks it's going to be in here again.
Not
and
today.
We just get some bombs.
So Finalflame clearing out that Ice Palace, getting that out of the way. Nothing really there.
So I'd say Finalflame's taking advantage here now, because he's going to check out the Eastern Import dungeon. He can fully clear them. He may not find the item he wants here, but there's a pretty good chance he's going to find something here. At worst, it's going to be Eva Medallion. He mirror bonks a little bit, and he's giving up on it. He's headed up the mountain.
Looks like he purposely set up that portal there.
But yeah, you can just lift up the rook to get to the Dark World again from there, so there's not much point in saving a portal there.
Looks like, yeah, Spike Cave, and gonna pick up that lamp.
Right, I think he's decided that Powers of Darkness without the lamp is pretty icky, and he's going to get it now. It's costing him a little bit of time to pick up that lamp again, considering he was literally walked right by it just early in the seed.
You know, it could be sometimes you just tunnel so hard that you just assume that you're going to pick up the lamp, and or like, you know, whatever's on Spectacle Rock, and then you just don't.
So that's cost him a little bit of time, but finally Frostbite has also spent a little bit of time clearing out most of Mizumaya and finding nothing for it. Obviously he can't finish the dungeon, so when Frostbite comes back into Mizumaya, he can complete it pretty quickly, because he's got the big key and everything else. But Finalflame will have to spend some time finding that big key, but that's all he will need to do in Mizumaya. Ooh, and Finalflame loses Kiki the monkey by getting hit by that moblin there, so has to go pay another 10 rupees to the monkey.
Yeah, that trip to Mire, you know, wasn't all the worst, but at the same time, it definitely wasn't the most time effective thing to do. Because I mean, it's cleared out now, so when you go back for the crystal, you don't have to worry about it.
First chest in House of Darkness is the big key. As Charles points out, the big key in Mizumai was in the vanilla location, so effectively Frostbite has spent a bit more time in Mizumai clearing out the right side with the checking the big chest and the other chest on the right side, so that's the time he spent extra in Maya that he could have avoided.
Yeah, we won't really see how much that plays out until Finalflame actually goes and does Mire as well.
And that's probably not going to be until he finds the book. It could be that he won't have hookshot at that point, so he may still decide to check out the right side, hoping to find a hookshot.
Well, we're getting pretty deep into pod here, and still no progression. So we're wondering where's the hookshot, and where is Ether? Because
Finalflame is taking the kind of unusual decision to go straight to Helmut King and get the green pendant before he clears out the back of a dungeon.
yeah, this is sometimes you see runners really gamble for it, and this is definitely one of those times, because green pendant could have something, but if it has nothing, then you know, the gamble is definitely a large one to take here.
Looks like Frostbite's headed over to Ice Tea here with a bomb jump. Oh, well, no, wait, he's going up to the top chests here. Ice Palace still... I've spent ages in Ice Palace, both looking at it in races, commentating races about it, and playing through seeds myself. Just not in races, but Ice Palace still confuses me to this day. I always get mixed up between the floors of where the Ice Tea room is. It's at the bottom.
Ice Palace is so confusing because it's just a neatly designed series of loops, and there's the hammer-locked silvers.
Yeah, interestingly, Finalflame actually didn't go for that bomb jump on the over the barrier pits there, so he missed out on the big key and those silver arrows. So useful for Frostbite. Quite as useful as it could potentially be, because both of others were running around with gold swords 20 minutes in, but definitely come in handy for Fitchius coming up, and of course Ganon. So Finalflame gets his green pendant. I wonder if he's going to hand it in directly or clear out the rest of the dungeon. Like, he's missed a lot of chests in Palace of Darkness getting that green pendant immediately, so I'm sure he's going to go back in and get the rest of his stuff.
And it looks like he's betting it all on the pendant. He's got a strong feeling about it. Maybe we'll go back after turning in pendant if it comes up nothing. Oh, and it's $20, so that gamble did not pay off. Looks like Finalflame is leaving.
Yeah. Did he even go into Eastern Palace at all? I don't think he did.
No, did not go into Eastern Palace at all. Finalflame doing back-to-back gambles here, I think. Going into Swamp probably from here.
So Frostbite's now tied on Crystal, so Finalflame. Of course, Frostbite hasn't been over to Paths of Darkness yet, too. Finalflame's only cleared out half of it. He got the pendant was useless, and it looks like Finalflame is now going to go into Swamp and bet on what he needs to find there, being here in the front of Swamp. And we saw on a hint tile that the left side is useless, both the map and the compass here, but all the other chests are going to be loaded with items.
It's interesting to see Finalflame doing these gambles. I'm wondering if Finalflame is feeling behind right now.
He's definitely, I imagine he's for sure feeling behind after getting that mirror quite a bit later than Frostbite. Obviously our runners are not going to be checking each other's streams to know where they are, but he's going to be thinking, yeah, Frostbite probably got this lots earlier and I've missed out on it, and also the boots. So he's going for extremely risky gambles here.
And Finalflame having a sword slash for that hint tile there, telling him the lamp is on Spectacle Rock, giving a little bit more insult to injury after leaving it behind.
So Frostbite's also making his venture into Pod, and he may decide to subvert my expectations and also go for Helmasaur and Hand Independent, but I think there's a pretty good chance he's going to go for the Dark Maze, the basement, everything else. So Finalflame has one more chest available to him. He's not picked up the big key, so he can't open the big chest.
Unless he gets the big key, then he'll be able to open the big chest.
I guess, but yeah.
Oh, and look at that, we got our answer. So we know what's in the big chest of Swamp. Funny enough, Finalflame skipped that hint tile.
I think there's just some definite witchcraft going on in this race. Keep calling things and then they kind of like pop up on hint tiles or in the chest immediately after or stuff like that.
I remember I was doing a seed, and I'm like, it was that particular hint tile in Pod that I was like, I was really looking for the ice rod, and I'm like, I was about to pass it up, and I'm like, I guess I'll check it. Not like it's gonna tell me where ice rod is anyway. And then it told me where ice rod exactly was.
So Frostbite is now checking out chests in Pod that Finalflame has not picked up. So we're getting new stuff here, and Finalflame's going to do things that Ooh! Oh!
Wow.
Yeah, Finalflame has made...
That is big.
Yeah, Finalflame has essentially gambled this race away. He's left the hookshot behind him, Paths of Darkness. That is a big loss for him.
And when you make a gamble like that, and it really costs you, it makes you less likely to want to go back into Pod again.
So Frostbite does know that left side of Swamp is useless, so he's going to be checking out the same chest as Finalflame, and then checking out chest and getting Argus, getting Crystal, possibly getting a book as well. If he doesn't, I think he will head straight back into Pod and Eastern. Looks like Finalflame is heading up to Spike Cave now, so Finalflame's doing a bunch of checks that Frostbite has done earlier in the race.
And Frostbite's...
Sorry.
Yeah, Frostbite's headed into Swamp. We'll be able to clear it all out now that they've got the hookshot in hand. So we'll get to see what other goodies that Swamp may hold. It could be the book. Alright, so Finalflame starting at Link's house. Looks like Finalflame is struggling for ideas maybe here. Trying to decide on where to go next.
The half of port to clear out, man. Head back there. Yeah. Thank you. He is going back there.
I think Pod and Eastern are his only options at this point.
Yeah, he can't get into Turtle Rock because no Eve medallion, and we have no clue where it is. And ideally, we don't want to go to Turtle Rock at all. Book on Trinex would be, yeah.
But luckily for Finalflame, didn't take long to come back to Pod.
But this has put him, whereas he was actually looking ahead for a little bit here, this gamble of his has significantly penalized him.
Yeah, it was a very big gamble to make, and then piggybacking off of the gamble to Helmasaur to go to Swamp and see if it's in there, that cost him even more. But we'll be able to get back in this, finding that hookshot in here.
Checks that chest out here, which often people do before jumping into the basement, and he's skipping the front basement. He's going to go into the back now. Could find Book here, and that would be great for him, but there's a significant chance that he could do the same thing as Frostbite and just immediately mirror out and go do stuff with a Book. Because he knows he's going to get cane from it, and he knows he can compete Maya with it, and also get into Turtle Rock if he so chooses. So, just have to see how this works out for him. If he doesn't find anything, he is going to get that hook.
Yeah, he'll definitely have to clear out all of this, and then Book could even be in Eastern. No one has checked Eastern at all yet.
Yeah. We can't say that Pet is dead now, because the only thing that Pedestal could have would be the hookshot, and we've got that now, so no Pedestals today. Frostbite picks up the big key there, but he's seen the hints about the big chest, so he's not bothering to go experience some glitches on the stairs to go back and get it. So one more item in here, and that is on Argus.
But Finalflame is picking up the consolation prize of Blue Mail. I'm not sure. I haven't been counting items. I'm not sure if there's any left, though. Okay, so there is that one.
He's got his mirror. He needs to mirror to the front so he can go to the basement. And yeah, there's two chests he hasn't checked yet. One which is the vanilla big key location, and the one which I think is a small key in the vanilla game, but here it's the hookshot.
And he does not have a small key, so he won't be able to check up there. But finally,
yeah.
Finalflame stumbling upon that hookshot, giving it a frustration slash, and is mirroring out.
Argus drops a shovel.
But we're looking at an Eastern play, maybe? Nope.
Yeah, he wants to finish Swamp now. I don't blame him, but for all he knows, Book could be in here. We know it's not because Frostbite has cleared out the place now.
Well, technically, we still have Shovel to check, so by extension, it could be in Swamp. We do know that Book can't be in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is pretty much a dead dungeon in this race, luckily. It's a pendant. Nobody wants to go in there.
We also chat pointing out Pyramid Fairy. Which are 5, 6 on here?
5 and 6, they were Swamp Palace and Skullwood, so Frostbite can check it out, and I think that's exactly his plan. He portal fluting with Mr. Duck and the Seagull, and took the portal back to go to the bomb shop here.
Yeah, I would think that book almost would have to be on Pyramid Fairy. I honestly can't think of anything. Oh, well, Eastern, it could be an Eastern. Eastern or Pyramid Fairy really are the only options I can think of that are left.
So Finalflame still has a bit of a chance here. He's going to get his crystal from Argus. He knows the book is whoops. Frostbite is going to retrieve a bomb by getting very quickly into the screen transition here. Yep, there he goes. Very tight to do it, but if you can really quickly get from that screen and then over to the pyramid here, you retrieve your bomb and it doesn't blow up. So yeah, Finalflame from here, after killing Argus, he could go back towards Pods and finish off Eastern. Frostbite's, hey, well, there's a book. And Frostbite's in go mode, so he's not even bothering to check out the upper chest.
Oh, wait.
Oh, well, he went back for it.
Maybe it was like, maybe it's mail. So now the question is, which tablet is the cane on? I want to say Ether.
Well, even if it's on either tablet, Finalflame's still going to be a bit behind Frostbite at this point, so... So it may come down to Ganon's Tower rooting first. Frostbite is, well, Finalflame is still in with a chance to clench a win here, but he's got to get lucky, and he's got to make the right checks.
Yeah. He's going to have to definitely go straight for that Pyramid Fairy and really cleanly execute everything to get caught up.
Right, so it is on Death Mountain, so Frostbite is out of here. He's got to climb up Death Mountain, get his Cane of Samaya from the Ether tablet, and then come back down here to get the... to finish Mizumaya. And he was looking a bit confused there, but I don't think his flute was working for some reason on that ledge.
And this is Pork Supreme pointing out in chat. This is where that clearing of Misery Mire comes back to actually help Frostbite in the end.
Yeah, because he's already got that big key. He did check out 2 chests that obviously were access to him by the big key that had nothing, which Finalflame will not need to check, but he's saving his, well, he's cleared it out already, so he's got a bit more of a time advance in Finalflame still, because Finalflame will have to get that big key from the vanilla location chest.
Oh, and Finalflame is going to find a piece of heart on that chest, so it's not going to be happy about what's in there.
I guess, yeah, that hint was a nice palace, wasn't it?
Yes, that was, I believe, a nice palace hint.
So Frostbite now has his cane as in true go mode now. Just with a quick diversion to 1 tablet.
So
Frostbite has, oh, sorry.
Yeah, Frostbite be able to go straight to Vitreous here, and since they cleared it out a while back.
Oh, Finalflame, where are you going? You're going back into Ice Palace.
And I think Finalflame is regretting his decisions to effectively go mode some of these dungeons. We'll find the silvers probably, but it is not the answer that Finalflame actually needs.
Yeah, he skipped out on the right side of Ice Palace because either he doesn't know how to or didn't want to do the bomb jump. It's a lot trickier bomb jump than the one to bypass the crystal blocks early in the dungeon. So maybe beyond his skill set, I don't know. But he didn't check out this chest, and he thinks the the book could be there, so he's checking him out. You get the silvers for his trouble, but it's not what he needs, like you said.
Meanwhile, Frostbite almost to Vitreous here.
And Frostbite attempting some spooky stuff here, but didn't work out for him. He's not quite spooky enough to activate those blocks from the other room.
Perhaps he was too spooky being a plague doctor.
Well, this fight is Plague Knight from Shovel Knight, and Plague Knight actually doesn't have much to do with plague or spookiness. He mostly just jumps about around the place flaying explosive flasks. I guess he does pop up from you from the darkness to surprise you, but that's all he really does. It's mostly explosions.
Frostbite opting for blue cane strats.
A couple dashes through those eyeballs with a gold sword, cleans them up really quickly. Into silvers, and down goes a big eyeball.
You know, Vitreous is nice. He's got a lot of strats you can use on him. You can use cape strats, you can use blue cane strats, you can use silver strats, or you can just go at it normally and just hack away.
Yeah, and it really depends on your loadout coming into Vitreous and your progress in the seed. So, like, if you've got invincibility item and gold sword, and silver bow, then it's utterly trivial to kill him. But if you're heading into him and your only means of attacking him is a fighter sword or a hammer, which is it's really difficult in that case.
Alright, so it looks like Frostbite is going to head up to GT. And where is Finalflame headed is my question.
I don't know. He's already done Spike Cave. Did he? I don't think he did the hair basement.
That's correct.
So yeah, Frostbite is headed into Ganon's Tower, so get your guesses in chat for where the big key in Ganon's Tower is going to be. I always go for 19, because that's going to, if you clear out both the right side and left side, it's going to put it in the vanilla location. And I also like Ice Armor, so I always guess 19.
I like 7. Because I just like the number 7. All right, we are in GT, so Frostbite gonna start on the right side.
First chest is 10 sticks, second chest is a small key, and nope, he's going to go to left side now. Finalflame heading into Hookshot Cave before the Hero basement.
Oh yes, nobody has checked here, but I wouldn't disagree with this one. You've got the hookshot and you got it late, so definitely you could think something would be here.
Just a lot of trivial change though, unfortunately. And given how early we got to Gold Sword in the sea, there's really nothing that's good to help out Finalflame at this point, as you could find it in a optional side check. There's the big key in chest number 5.
So let's see if we got any number 5 guesses in chat. We got Ketsa and Pepper getting the number 5, and it looks like yep, they're the only one that guessed 5. So you are today's winner of the internet points. You get how many internet points do we want to give out today?
9,001.
Over 9,000 internet points. Congratulations on your win.
So Frostbite has two small keys in hand, so he's not going to run into any trouble at the top of the tower here. He doesn't even need to kill the Helmosaurs, so he's all set for finishing up this tower.
Yep, and
Finalflame hasn't done the purple chest yet. We did see this on Frostbite's side, and it was nothing. So this is one more check that Finalflame's doing. That's not going to work out for him.
yeah, and this is like, you know, this is the position you hate to be in when you're in any seed, race or non-race. It's just like, where is that one thing that I need?
Nice fairy drop from the Zazax there.
So Finalflame is going to loop in the shovel here.
Yeah, given he's looping this in with the shovel, that's good. Well, he can't pick up the big bomb because he's already got the purple chest filling, so he can't do the bomb shot yet. But it's quite possible after doing the purple chest, he will head back up and go do the bomb shop, where he will get his book from the Pyramid Fairy. And 50 rupees if he checks the other chest first.
That'd be kind of neat if you could bring the bomb along with you as well. Just have a train of items following you around. Ranger, yeah, we would need Kane to enter Turtle Rock anyway, so even if anyone found Ether, it would still, Turtle Rock would still be dead. So, Frostbite making quick work of the gauntlet and headed up to the tippy top of GT, and we're getting a gotta go fast from Frostbite.
Finalflame is headed into the bomb shop. Oh, Nako Orange is in chat with a 10-month resubscription. Thank you very much.
And Finalflame gonna finally get that book in Pyramid Fairy, so definitely might see a few rage slashes there.
Ooh, gets pushed off by Mordor and has to go back up the stairs. Getting trolled by Mordor when you can kill him in just 2 hits is the absolute worst.
The ultimate troll. Killing Moldorm, but having to redo it because he fell off.
Moldorm comes back to life to taunt you from beyond the grave.
Alright, so Frostbite entering the Aghanim 2 fight. Let's see what our pattern is gonna be. So we got a 1 on the first strike. I believe we had 2 on the second and 2 on the third. And there is 1. So 1, 2, 2, 1. All right, Frostbite headed in to fight the big pig. So let us see what words of wisdom Ganon has for us this seed.
Having a bit of audio problems here. Apologies for that. We're trying to get it fixed.
All right, so Frostbite starting off really strong with that gold sword. Doesn't make this fight too hard. And Ganon throwing a few teleports out there to troll Frostbite there.
But with a gold sword and silver house, this is going to be a very quick fight. And yeah, we did find it as in the Ice Palace, because Frostbite was able to pull off a bomb jump to get over to the locked right side with no hookshot.
Ooh, taking a fire bat to the face. That's not comfortable.
Yeah, Frostbite hasn't picked up any males in this seed. Finalflame did find a blue male somewhere. I forget where it was exactly. I think it... was it? Yeah, it was in Swamp.
And there it is. All Frostbite has to do is cross that treacherous bridge, and we have a GG.
Alright, finishing in first place today for the win is Frostbite with an official SRO time of 1 hour, 37 minutes and 44 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for Frostbite. I've already got him on the side here waiting to be interviewed, so let's bring him in. GG Frostbite, congratulations on your win.
Whoa, caught me off guard there for a second there. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ocelot. It was a very fun seed, and yeah, it was. I was getting a little worried there at the end when I couldn't find the book forever, because I was starting to think, did I imagine that I read a hint about the book leading to something very important that I'm going to need at the end of the seed? But it all worked out in the end. I felt like my execution was average at best for me, but I felt like I routed. I mean, I hundoed the thing basically, but I felt like I routed it very efficiently, and basically, with maybe the exception of not going in and getting the hookshot after I found the flute on Sasha, that was probably the only thing that, I mean, cost me a lot of time. But I don't regret that decision. It opened Desert and Mire, and like I knew I knew where Samaria was, but that translated to like already having Samaria, which is why I opened Mire when I went right over there, because I was like, oh, I'll just go in and I'll clear this. And then I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, oh wait, no, you actually have to find the book and pick it up. Just because you know where it is doesn't mean you can actually use the item yet. So that was a little mistake. But other than that, it was good. It was a really fun seed. Hint for the boots, and boots fairly early makes any seed really fun, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and considering what he said about flute, Finalflame actually checked out as well and got the flute much sooner than you, but what's put him back was actually the mirror. He left that behind in Ice Rock Cave for quite a long time, and he also got the boots as a result. He got the boots in the graveyard ledge much later after you. So he caught up for a little bit, but some of his gambles haven't really paid off for him. He missed the hookshot in pod, and he went to hand independent instead. So otherwise, it was really close between you guys for quite a lot of the race, and he even pulled ahead at one point.
Oh, I believe it. I wasn't playing that well. I was very cautious. I mean, I specifically decided I was going to play and not skip too many things, so that would surprise me. But I was happy that some of the locations were terrible, frankly. The book leading to Samaria so late. I mean, I knew I was going to pick the wrong one. No matter which one I picked, I was going to get something else before I found it. Yeah, I guess maybe like from my perspective, going into Mire was a mistake, but I figured if the book's in Mire and I don't go in here right now, it's going to be the last thing I find. And I didn't really want to make that decision that early in the game, so I figured I'd rather sink the 3 minutes, you know, it's always not that bad. If it's a late key, you're not sinking that much time into it. So I don't think that play worked out. Clearly it didn't, but I think it might have given me a hint. But no, it was a fun seed. The hints are pretty good. Didn't get run around too much. And yeah, I didn't feel I played that well, but I routed pretty well, and I didn't basically go up to Hookshot Cave before I found the book, because I was almost on my way there, and I was like, oh wait, Red Bomb, you were just thinking about this. So it was fun seed. It was fun seed. I think I played pretty well. Did he find any armor upgrades? Because I didn't like my execution going up the tower, and that fairy was just like a godsend. And then and then it basically, the gold sword having silvers for so much of the game made it a lot easier as well. But
well, there was one blue mail, and it was in the chest to the bottom, to the south of the big chest in Swamp Palace.
Well, it looks like red meringue was on the ped, so there's your answer of what was on ped.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about that.
But
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were talking about the boots, and it was funny. One of the hint tiles was a bit trying to beat you over the head with the hint. The Desert Palace hint tile stated where the boots were as well, because there were 2 hint tiles that said a unique item is above the post.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's funny that it showed up in that room, basically saying, "Hey,
yeah,
you should probably go to Graveyard Ledge.
You're looking for something, eh?" Yeah, no, that was funny. I was like, you know, that was sort of like, you could say, one of the cautious plays I made. Like, a lot of times I just would never get that purple chest there. I would have just walked right over to the Graveyard Ledge and checked that, because I kind of roll under the assumption that every single item that a hint refers to is the boots, until I either find the boots or I find a hint that directly refers to the boots. And so, like, I tend to check them immediately. But yeah, no, it was nice, and it was basically where I was going to go next. But the only you know, it was I knew the flute was obviously somewhere before I got the lamp, which was very helpful for me in some aspects, even though I didn't, because I had the boots and I was going to be rolling around the dark world, the flute wasn't going to actually save me a whole heck of a lot of time. And I was kind of hoping, because if I got flute go mode, it could have given me like a go mode Mire desert situation. So I was actually kind of specifically avoiding it for a while, but in the end, obviously, I think you needed to have it, at least logically, and obviously to get into Mire. But no, it was like I said, it was super fun seed, and GG to Finalflame, and yeah, I'm super happy I won. I was really worried. I shut down the chat about the time that I entered Ganon's tower, and then I was crossing my fingers when I loaded it back up. And I'm super happy to get the win for the team. We went 2-0 in the first week, and looking forward to our next week's matchup. I think against Commissioner Fear Agent's squad and Team Kappa. So.
Yeah, GG's to you, and I think honestly you've answered most of the questions that I wanted to ask you. So we here in the commentary box pretty much debating where the lamp, where the flute could have been, considering we saw the lamp on Spectacle Rock before Finalflame actually got the flute. So we were floating the idea of left side swamp for a bit, and but it could have been there, but it obviously wasn't. The hints actually came in really useful in this seed. There was a lot of like straight up hints saying this item is in X location, and so like there was one saying map and compass on left side swamp, so you know you didn't need to go there for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to ask, because I'm not good at remembering things, which is maybe not that surprising, but I write down hints. So I wrote down Samaria on tablet, but I didn't write down left side of Swamp Dead. I'm like, oh, I'll remember that. And sure enough, like half an hour later, I'm thinking, oh god, man, was that in the seed I played this afternoon, or was that in tonight's seed? And I basically made the decision that it was tonight's seed, and I was just gonna skip it anyways. And if I lost because I lost something on left side Swamp, well, it wouldn't be the first time, it wouldn't be the last time. So, but no, that was funny. No, and the big chest, I remembered that hit because it was a lot sooner to when I found it. But no, I was surprised when the book wasn't in Swamp. It sort of caught me off guard, and then. You know, I was really worried about Eastern Palace, obviously, because I never went in there, and I was really worried about the back of Pod because I never went in there either. But the longer it went without them dunning, I figured I was on the right path. And so rather than, when I found that hook shot, keep going in Pod, I figured if that dang thing was here in Pod, they'd be done by now. And so I decided to keep going deeper in the logic, which which helped me, I think, take the victory.
And waiting
Yeah.
for the dot done can often be a dot done deal, because once you've seen that dot done, it's effectively over anyway. So you're never quite certain where those items could be unless you're in a really big race. And
No.
I also understand you possibly confusing where items could be, because you've done quite a lot of races in the last week, haven't you?
Oh, I've been had a lot of free time lately, and I've been trying to grind out, get some practice in. The thing is, like, I've been like, so obviously, as everyone knows in this league, week 5 is a special week for everybody, especially those of us that hadn't really played entrance before we signed up for the league. So I've been trying to get a lot of entrance race practice in, and it's been fun. But yeah, no, I've been like, I have very flexible work hours, so I try and make time for the daily and nightly every day, because it's really fun to race against usually a gathering of good racers, and most of them are happy to speak about it afterwards, or at least chat in the Discord, and it's sort of how you get better at this. And I think, like most of the people in this league, like, I'm trying to get better at the game. I take it fairly seriously, and speaking with people, like talking about routing choices and whatnot, it's really fun. And I figure those big races are the best times to do it, so I make a habit of joining them. So
I also like that you checked out Spike Cave really early. When you were like, it was the hunt for the hookshot and the book. One of your checks was Spike Cave really early, and I remember from your daily race the other day that you found a hookshot there.
Honestly, I'm the type of person that when I'm down to that situation, I figured when I find the hookshot, I'm stopping wherever I'm going, and I'm going into swamp. So I figured if I get it in Spike Cave, then I'm not even going to touch Pot and Eastern, likely in this whole seed. And otherwise, if I get it, if it's not there, then I know it has to be in Pot and Eastern at that point. So it was basically like, if I'd had 2 or 3 other locations, I definitely would not have checked them. But because I think I was literally down to Spike Cave and Pod and Eastern and the front of Swamp Palace at that point, I decided Spike Cave, just get it off the list. If there's something there, it's going to be a huge advantage, and if not, so what? I lost some time, but it was a nasty spot, especially since you knew there was something on the tablet. So in the back of your mind, you're trying to think like, well, maybe if it's like something later, I can just check at the bow or whatever, But no, I was really worried about the bow. I guess that's the other thing I'll ramble on for a second about, because of the pendant situation and just finding it in like Agina's cave of all places. That was very funny, I thought. And so Sphere 1 was loaded. I mean, not Sphere 1, but at least the Light World early game, mitts, hammer, flute, bow, like lamp right after the flute. Like, if you routed this a lot differently, the times could have been a tad bit faster.
Oh, absolutely. Like, at the beginning of the seed, I was basically calling it jet seed from about 20 minutes in. And if you had done things like, say, gotten the boots and the flute, and then just had a really quick dip in Paths of Darkness for this hookshot, it would have been really, really quick. I mean, considering the pendants, all you had to do was just go into Turtle Rock for a little bit, and, well, not Turtle Rock, Paths of Darkness for a little bit, and get the hookshot. And you didn't need to touch Eastern Palace or Turtle Rock at all.
Yeah, exactly. And this is definitely the type of seed that in like a 25-person daily race, someone gets like a 117 or something like that, probably. Because when you just have a lot of good racers, we're all like, I'm not at the elite level, but I'm pretty good. And I know I got to make plays. And so someone's going to make the right plays in a seed like this if you just get enough cracks at it, right? So I was happy that this was in a 1v1, because it was a jet seed. But it was a jet seed where you had a lot of spots to go and you had to find the right spots, right? So... but no, I'm happy with it. So anyways, just a quick thank you to everyone for setting this up. Obviously, a huge shout out to Fear Agent for organizing the league and doing a huge amount of the work behind the scenes to get it up and running. I know I sometimes give them a bit of a hard time, but it's all in good fun. And obviously, thanks to the comms today. Is that pronounced Cheddars? I'm taking a guess at that. That is a great combination of letters. And Revolving Ocelot and the trackers and the Restream team and all the people behind the scenes. I'm looking forward to this league. It's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. Whilst we're at it, Finalflame is now entering into the Ganon fight, so you're free to hang out and wait for him to finish up and discuss the seed with him.
All right, I'm going to mute and go wander around for a bit, but if I come back and he's there, I'll hop in and listen and jump in at appropriate times.
Oh, okay then. GG's once again, and great race from you. So
And-
Sorry.
Yep. Final Flame is in phase 3, trying to get Ganon to just stand still, please.
Yeah, the nature of randomizer is that the first time you're heading into an Aga fight or a Ganon fight, the number of teleports or blue balls you fire is always going to be the same. If you happen to like die or fall down the pit, then the pattern's going to change. So Final Flame, assuming he does this in one try, will always get the same amount of Ganon teleports as Frostbite did. He did take a couple of Ganon hugs there. I think the Ganon hugs are pretty deadly, even in blue mail, so he's got to be careful. But just a couple of Zero Hours takes down Ganon, and as long as Final Flame makes it across the bridge, he will be finishing.
Yep, we got a double-double. All right, and get your GGs in the chat for Final Flame. Finishing in second place with an official time of 1 hour 51:46 seconds.
GG. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview too. Oh, it looks like he is already here in the chat. So no, wait, I'm confusing things. Never mind. Yeah, we'll see if we can grab him. So whilst we were waiting for him, what were your kind of like your thoughts on where everything was in this phase, judges?
Well, I feel like it's a seed that challenges you to kind of like really like I don't know, because there were some trolley items and the book. How often do you have the book being your go mode item? You know. And we're joined by Final Flame.
Hi.
GG, man.
GG. That was some seed.
Yeah, I think those double dips, like you mentioned in IRC, the double dips kind of cost you the race here. Like,
Oh yeah.
you were right there in Palace of Darkness, and you went and grabbed a pendant and missed out on the hookshot, and I think that was really the thing that mostly cost you the race there. Because you often jumped ahead at some point. So you got the boots and the magic mirror much later than Frostbite, but you also had the flute for a long time. So that kind of kept a bit of an equilibrium in terms of mobility around the world. So
nice. What really hurt me was the hint I got about. I don't even remember what the hint was. Something being hammerlocked. And so in my mind, all I could think of was, okay, I need to go to places that require the hammer, and I'll find something good, and that just threw me all off. I should have just never even checked that dang hint.
I think it was Silver Arrows, actually.
Yep.
And of course, that was in the...
Okay, well, I completely forgot it was Silver Arrows. I just remember, I thought I said unique item. So that is what really threw me off that seed.
Yeah, the one unique item hint was for the one above a pose, and of course, that was the boots, which was necessary to clear Desert Palace.
Yeah, I think I found 2 hints for that one. After a second, I'm like, okay, I really need to go get that item.
Yeah, there's one I think in Desert Palace itself, and actually, I think the hint in Desert Palace is deliberate. If there's an item on the torch, the hint will kind of like clue you into where the boots are. I think that's something in the latest version of Randomizer, but don't quote me on that because I haven't done too many.
I believe there's. I
Let me
believe
write down that
there's.
quote.
Yeah, I believe there is a guarantee boot hint in these seeds, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Yeah,
Out of curiosity, did I just completely walk right by the lamp and never pick it up? Is that how I never got it?
Yes.
I noticed that when
I
I noticed that in Desert, I went to grab the fire rod and went, I'm missing something. I must have skipped the lamp that I was staring at.
Yeah, you literally mirrored on the spectacle rock and then just ran straight off the ledge.
Symbolic of my play of the seed.
And then it was a bit the seed was a bit sassy to you, giving you that hint tile afterwards of, hey, the lamp is on spectacle rock.
Yeah. And I think that was after I went back and got it, because I went to go to pod and then went, crud, I hadn't grabbed the lamp yet. I need to go grab that.
But let me ask you, I noticed you made a lot of gambles, and sometimes those can pay off. What was your thought process in deciding to make those gambles?
It really just varied. As I mentioned, the hammer hint and forgetting that apparently it was silver arrows just really misled me in a few places. Couple of them, like, just pod, same thing. I was thinking, well, I guess technically Almost Arcane requires a hammer. Let me try that and get the green pendant. I don't know if there'll be anything here. Ice, just my gut feeling was there wasn't anything in ice, but after a while I kind of had to backtrack on everything.
Frostbite actually mentioned that he often has trouble remembering hints and often writes down a few of the hints, especially if they're explicit, like, say, there's an item above the pose, or Cane of Samaya is on the tablet, so
Yeah,
he said he wrote down some hints just to make sure he didn't forget them or confuse them for something else.
I actually haven't played with the hints that much, so I never really thought of that idea. I'm happy that I even remembered to check the hints.
So, aside from going around in circles a bit in the late part of the seed, the early part of the seed was really, really quick, considering you got the flute, you got the gold sword, you got a ton of cash to pay off Zora for all the gloves and the Titan Spits and everything else. So this really had the potential to be a jet seed for both of you. All you had to do was basically go into Paths of Darkness and pick up the hookshot and just get your other items in dungeons and finish them all off in one go. So this seed could have gone quite a different way for both of you. But what were your overall thoughts on it, really?
Honestly, I didn't think the seed was too bad. I just played it pretty badly. As soon as when I found the mirror and ice rod cave, just my first thought is, crud, this is gonna set me back, and I think that's the point when I just started making stupid plays. But the seed itself wasn't really that bad. And also, shoutouts to managing to get the Zora with exactly 500 rupees. Was not trying to do that.
Yeah, Frostbite actually did a bit of cash farming in the cave outside Ice Water Cave after picking up the mirror to get himself just above 500 rupees. So he went there with 508.
Oh, wow, yeah. This seed, I did not need to go cash farming. The seed just went, here you go, here's the exact cash you need.
Yeah, and this is a rare seed. Both of our vendors having very useful items.
Yeah, I was actually kind of happy when I saw Zora had something, because he usually doesn't, and I'm thinking, well, I'm really glad I came up here. Maybe that'll help me out.
Yeah, it was definitely wide open pretty early. And then, as I said, how often do you have book being your effective go mode item? Like, that book was really hidden deep.
Yeah, and I almost forgot about that area. I'm going over my mind thinking, alright, all I really have left are these few checks, going into Eastern, potentially double dipping Meyer. I was leaving the one location in Hera alone. I'm like, screw it. If that's the book, so be it. And then I'm like, wait a second. I can go do this.
Yep. And but yeah, it was definitely a fun race to watch, and this seed, overall, not the worst seed imaginable. I mean, it basically blocked you from ever having to go into Turtle Rock.
Oh, yeah, I really appreciated that.
Nobody ever likes to go to Turtle Rock, especially pendants to Turtle Rock, and if it's hiding an item there. But luckily, Ether Medallion is completely unknown in this seed. It's probably hiding some in Eastern Palace.
Or GTs. At least I didn't get too deep into that.
So this puts you at 0-2 in the league. So you're still on 0 points, but obviously you've got many more weeks coming up yet, and you've got an opportunity to catch that up. So next week, I believe you're dealing with open seeds, no extra rules, just open seeds compared to the standard seeds this week, and you'll be facing off against Too Pearl, Too Furious team. What are your thoughts coming up?
In terms of the league overall, I still feel pretty good about our chances of advancing past the 6 weeks, so I'm not too worried about going 0-2. About next week, I'm looking forward to it. I actually prefer open over standard, and I do intend on playing that week, so hopefully that'll go pretty well.
Yeah, and in the later weeks, you've got Inverted, you've got a co-op race, which I haven't seen co-op before, so I have to check that out because it's something I'm
Co-op's
completely
fun.
And then, as mentioned earlier, week 5 is Crossroad and Entrance
Nope.
Key Sanity. So you know,
Nope.
if you want to if you want to open up a little hatch in your head and your brain goes for a little vacation out the window, then that's a week to do it.
Yeah, we've already determined weeks 3 through 5 are my vacation. I am not touching Crossroads Key Sanity, not after AGDQ.
So I think we're about ready to wrap up things here now. So GG's to you, Finalflame, and GG to Frostbite, and well done. Congratulations on the win.
Congrats, Frost.
Thanks, GG, Finalflame, great race.
GG.
So yeah, I think that's about covers it for today. So this has been one more race in week 1 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We have got more races coming up later in the week. There are more races tonight, in fact. Some of them are going to not be restreamed, but I know for sure that we've got one more race being restreamed tonight. So
Yep.
do check that out. I don't have a schedule open right now, but I'll just go grab that. I think
It's actually starting. It actually started about, looks like about 6 minutes ago on Speed Gaming 5. So that, fresh off the heels of this one, you can go check out that one.
Yeah, I think I will do exactly that myself. So thank you for joining us tonight, Speed Gaming fans. And if you want some more, head over to Speed Gaming 5. I've been involving Ocelot. Thank you for joining us tonight.